Hi, I'm Vanessa Lake, mental health therapist and spiritual practitioner. And today I'm going to provide an Akashic Record card reading. So, what's that mean? I've opened my Akashic Records, which allows me to gain more information from the masters, teachers, and loved ones. Basically, it makes me an open channel to more info than just my intuition about these cards. What that looks like is I often talk faster and I get chunks of info all at once that I have to slow down and put human words to. It's not always easy, but it's fun. It can add more to the card reading. So let's dive in. In honor of the summer solstice energy, I created a 4 card spread for the collective, anyone watching this video. I used the Queen of the Sun Oracle, but then my guide said if you're going to add the Akashic Records to the reading, let's also add tarot to the Oracle cards, and we'll blend that too. So I added the Wizard's Tarot cards as more clarification to the messages. So I'm curious what's going to come through. Probably a lot. So here's the spread I created per the guidance of my spirit team, and the positions for each in case you want to recreate the reading for yourself to get more personal information. It's release, celebrate, fuel, and shine. So let's see what that looks like exactly. Here's the entire layout of the spread. Release, celebrate, fuel, and shine. Now I'm going to zoom into them one at a time so you can get a better look at the cards. In this first position is release. What can I release to make space for growth and success? Okay, so this is a pretty good example of what often happens. When you have a position where it's supposed to be releasing, letting go, but it looks like it's a pretty positive card. Why would you release progress? Why would you release your year and confidence and all these great things? Because in a release position, it's saying releasing blocks to creating what's on this card, which is confidence, shining your light, making it your year. You know personally what's getting in your own way of shining and being your best self and making progress. Everybody has a different answer as to what that is. So that's why it's not super specific, other than how are you getting in your own way? So more information about that is the Seven of Pentacles. The Seven of Pentacles is it's about patience, which, let's be honest, is not my strong suit. So this card is showing that with patience, you have to wait for the potion to be ready. You put in all the ingredients, you do all the work, you plant the seeds, you wait for them to grow. Here, she's waiting for the potion to become ready. If you rush into it and try and get this potion too soon, it could actually, cause a lot of harm or be damaging in some way. So you have to be patient and wait for it to be ready. So how do you release, and make room for growth and success? You release impatience. You release rushing the process and trying to take shortcuts. You release the things that get in the way of you brewing it, which might be giving up too soon. I mean, we're talking about summer solstice. We're already halfway through the year. You may have set goals at the beginning of the year, some intentions, and it's been 6 months and nothing's happened. So you kind of want to give up on it. And that's what this card is saying, that have the patience not to give up if you've done the work. If you've actually put in all the pieces, and if you're like, well, I did 2 things, but no, I didn't do that one thing. I didn't put in that one piece, that one ingredient. So, waiting for this potion to become viable isn't going to happen because you didn't put in all the pieces that you needed to, if you truly looked at that. So, this is what it's saying you need to release. This is the celebrate position. What areas of my life deserve celebration? Well, your whole damn life. Literally, we got the life card. What area of your life deserves celebrating? Your whole life. It's not about looking at one part of it and saying, well, this one's worth celebrating. This one deserves it. This one doesn't. This one's lacking. This one's not good enough. That's just judgment that keeps you stuck. That's not what celebration should be. Celebration should be the fact that you simply exist, you breathe. It's the being, not the doing. Simply by being life, that is where it's celebrating all parts of your life. Even if it's not how you want it to look, celebrating it, it's that gratitude, acting as if bringing more in law of attraction stuff, right? If I'm celebrating the part of my life that is my job, even if I'm not 100% happy with everything about it, I want to change it, you can still have the gratitude, the celebration. I have a job, I have a paycheck, I have an income. You might have good coworkers. You might have crappy supervisors, but you might have good parts to it that are worth celebrating. And by celebrating the positive part of, I've got a good job where I'm appreciated and valued, and I, am good at what I do, have a good work ethic, then you will attract and bring more of that in, either into your current position in your current job. By having the gratitude and seeing what's good about it, you can see more of it because you're adjusting your filter. What you focus on grows. So as you focus on the parts of your job that you actually enjoy that are worth celebrating, then more of that will show up at that job or potentially at a brand new job. If you're saying, here's all the pieces that I like about work. I like working with coworkers who appreciate me, who are fun and funny. I like and celebrate a job that has a supervisor that teaches me and gives me room to grow and things like that. If you're celebrating those pieces, then that is what you can be attracting in the new job. Again, you can be grateful for something and still want something more, better, or different. That doesn't mean you're ungrateful for what you currently have, depending upon the story that you're telling about it. So celebrate all areas of your life. And I would say even especially the ones that you don't that think are the greatest, because once you can drop the judgment and see where the positive is, what you think about changes. How you look at it is going to change, including your relationship. If you're only focusing on the parts that aren't great, then that's all you're going to see. And self-fulfilling prophecy, you're also going to be creating more of that because you're expecting it. So if you're expecting celebration, things worth valuing and having, then you will also see those show up. So more information about this is the Knight of Swords. The Knights are on a quest. Swords represent knowledge. It's the sword of truth, wisdom. So a life where you are on a quest for the truth. The truth is nothing is all bad. There's always some piece worth celebrating. There's always some part of it that you can find the gratitude and the celebration for. Again, even if it's just the damn paycheck, so that you can go on vacation and, have experiences with friends and families and things that you actually enjoy. So it's questing for the truth and looking for that. And the truth is there's always a light. There's always a light somewhere in your life. The other part is about being decisive. So the Knight of Swords is one of the fastest moving cards in the deck. It's decisive. Decisive is celebrating the life that you create by the choices you make that you don't take the time to think about. It's the instant decisions, because that's intuition. So intuition is very quick. Anything that comes into your mind in less than 3 seconds, that instant thought, that's more intuition. It's messages. If you're asking for a message, the very first thing that pops into your head is not going to be the fear-based overthinking, overanalyzing, what if scenario stuff. That's giving it time for those other pieces, the ego, the mental body, to come in and basically screw it all up. Self-doubt and all of that. Being decisive is making that initial gut, intuitive, downloaded, guided decision. So if you need to change something in your life, you celebrate it and you're like, this is great and wonderful, and I want to change certain parts of it, and I want to add more light to it, I want to improve it, then be decisive. Tune in to your intuition, to your higher self, and see what is the first thing that you're drawn to. What is your truth? Sharing your truth with yourself first. I'm not happy with this. I would like to change this relationship, this job. Sometimes telling yourself the truth is one of the hardest things. But when you tell your truth, you speak your truth, and then you live with that truth, you live by your truth, then your entire life is worth celebrating because you're living your truth. You're not people pleasing or what people expect. You're actually on your quest for more of that truth. What else do I want? What else do I enjoy? Well, if you stay stuck in the same place over and over without being fulfilled, then you're not going to get the truth of a life that's worth celebrating, because you're going to stay stuck and small and you're not going to have a lot of experiences, right? And the more experiences you have, the more truth you're exposed to from diversity, from other people, from the experience itself. You learn. Even if the experience isn't what you thought it would be or works out the way that you want it to, you still learn from that. That's still an experience that's worth celebrating. An experience of what we call failure is still worth celebrating because of the lesson we learned. And often, rejection is God's protection, as they say. There is a reason we get detoured or delayed, or a rejection happens because something better is out there, something, for our highest good. it is worth celebrating even the failures. And I know that seems counterintuitive, but again, it's calling in that trust, the truth. The truth is life is working out for your highest good. So even when a situation happens and it's not your ideal, give it time with trust and faith and with celebrating. And the more that you can do that, the more you'll see all the things that are worth celebrating. This is the fuel position. How can I harness the energy to fuel my goals? Apparently you make a chi ball of energy chi and you harness your own energy to this lovely glowing ball. Okay, maybe not as literal, but that's a pretty good depiction of harnessing energy, is it not? Okay, so the card of ideas. How do you harness the energy to fuel your goals? She's putting it all into one ball. She's got all of these ideas, right? As we often do. Oh, I want to do this. I want to do this. I could do this. I could start this. I can make this course. I could, do these YouTube videos. I could, sell this, make this product, this product, this product. We can have lots of ideas. But how you harness the energy is choosing one. You put your energy and your focus into one. She's not lighting up all these other ideas. Yes, they're there. They're glowing. Put them in a spreadsheet, put them in a notebook, put them somewhere so they're not wasted. But she's putting her energy, harnessing it into one idea at a time. I mean, that's the best way of harnessing energy, is not spreading yourself thin and putting it in 10 different directions. So the added clarification is the Knight of Pentacles. One, it's the slowest moving card in the deck, which is funny because we just had the fastest moving and now we're getting the slowest moving. So balance. But the Knight of Pentacles is about making plans before taking action. So instead of rushing in, quickly, impulsively, it's about creating a plan. So you take your idea and you make a plan for it. You have action steps, a routine, a schedule, an outline, whatever it is that you're creating, you're building, your idea is, what are the steps that you're taking? You're creating a plan first so that you can follow through. Because again, if you go in impulsively, your energy is going to be all over the place because you're like, well, I started this and I put this over here and then this went over this way. And however that shows up in your life as to what your goal is. If we're talking about working out, even so you want to exercise and get healthy, and you don't have a set routine, and sometimes you work out in the morning, sometimes in the evening, sometimes 3 times a week, sometimes 5. Maybe you're working on strength training, but then you're like, oh, maybe I need to do cardio. Well, I'll just do cardio. Like, if you're all over the place and you don't know what you're consistently doing, okay, where's your rest day? Where is cardio? Where is strength training? Where's upper body? Where's lower body? Like, having a system, a plan in place, you're going to be all over the place and you're not going to stay with it. If you don't make it a habit and a routine to be like, okay, every day before I go to work, I go to the gym or I work out in my home. This is what I do. Here's the exercise I do. Here's the music I listen to. If you don't map out that plan, then your energy is not going to go into that one place. It's going to go all over the place. You're going to get distracted, make excuses. You got to be consistent with that. However that shows up, depending upon what your goal is. So putting the energy into one idea, having a plan of action to execute that. It's about taking the action, though. Some people overplan. They have this idea and they think they have to have every piece of it. Every part of this ball has to be lit up. They have to know all the steps. They have to know the entire forest, not just the tree, before they can take action. Well, I don't have 6 months of material mapped out on YouTube. I don't. But I can still have a plan of what the next thing is, and put my energy and focus into that. I created a day of, creation, mildly redundant, but I have, creation day, and I create the videos and then I will post them and that will be the next thing. I don't have 6 months. I have a shit ton of ideas of all the things and videos that I want to make and create, but that's not a good use of my energy. I got to pick one video and say, this is what I'm creating right now. I'm doing a summer solstice video. This is what I'm doing. And then I'm going to post it. And then I'll figure out the next one on the next creation day. So it's about taking action, not just planning until you have everything mapped out, because that's not realistic. Plans change. You've got to be adaptable to the things that come along. You might be like, oh, I'm going to do it in these steps, and then find that something didn't work or something better, even came along because you weren't so rigid. But it's about taking action. Harnessing energy needs movement. Even if it's slow and steady, even if it's just that next step, it's the momentum of completion. complete the next thing, do the one video, write the one page, make the one phone call, just do the next step for that slow and steady. I mean, Pentacles is grounded, it's earth. So doing that grounded earth, slow and steady, steps will use the energy. It just needs movement. It can't be stagnant. It can't just sit there. The way I'm seeing it is if you have all of these ideas, they're like the ocean. You've got all these ideas and okay, so what I'm seeing, so I'm trying to explain the vision that I'm getting. I don't even know if this is true, but it works for this analogy. So you've got the ocean, and it's massive and it's very, very wide. And as the ocean comes into rivers and gets smaller, it gets faster because the force of all of the ocean, all of the water coming behind it, narrowing that down, it makes it faster. There's so much trying to get through a smaller space that creates a lot of energy. Right? It's like, they dam up the water and they stop it from moving. And then they open up the channel to let the water go through. And because there's such a backlog of water, it rushes through the opening it finally has to get out. And it's super fast. And that's what creates the most energy. So same thing. All these ideas narrowed down into one so that it can go super fast instead of trying to spread out in something very wide, broad. But definitely create a plan, take action. You only need one step. You don't need all these, bulbs lit up. You just need the one. This is the shine position. Where do I need to shine my light more confidently? Okay, well, this feels a little personal. Reciprocity. That is the law of give and receive. Give and receive. Shining your light more confidently on giving, not just to others, but giving to yourself. Shining your light on being open to receive. Healers, empaths, spiritually inclined often have a tendency to give, to be of service. We just want to help. We want to be of service. This is our sole purpose, our passion. But we forget that you also need to be of service to yourself. You need to give to yourself and you will receive. Your energy is not wasted. See, I always thought that if I give to myself, I'm wasting my time, my energy that should be spent, yes, shooting myself, that should be spent on helping others, right? Sole purpose to be of service. I have gifts. I need to share them with the world. I need to help people. I'm a healer. I need to, help these people heal. And so I thought that it always had to be about of service to others or giving to others. And that's how I would be rewarded. I would get more clients. I would get more income. I would get connections. I would get the reward of the feeling of helping somebody. I mean, and if you're a helper, a healer, being of service to people feels great. You're like, wow, I helped them make a difference in their life. And you're proud of their accomplishments and their growth. And there's a high to that feels great. But you also need to do it to yourself. Justice is about balance, but it's also about what's fair. How is it fair to give to others until you are so depleted that your cup is empty? How is that fair to the next person who shows up, that's looking for healing or guidance or support, your own family, your own friends, your own physical body? How is that fair if you are giving and you're not open to receive, or you're not giving to yourself the things that you need to recharge, to rest, to just have fun, to play, to be creative, to not just always be of service to others? So the law of karma, the justice card reminds me of that, because it's what's fair and what's just is that what you get out comes back to you. And so when obviously most people know karma is something negative, right? Like if you're shitty to somebody else, then somebody's going to be shitty to you. But that's also if karma is the energy of cause and effect, give and receive. The energy that you put out will come back to you, not necessarily in the same form. And that's what we need to let go of. Like if you donate money to charity, that does not mean you're going to win the lottery and get $1 million. It's not, I gave money, so I'm going to get money back. It doesn't work in the same form. It's the energy of I gave to be of service selflessly. I gave to myself time to just read a damn good book, on the couch and not have to just think about what somebody else needs from me. I curled up with a good book. And in that moment, what did I receive? Well, rest and recharge, which is a physical thing my body needs so I can do my job and be there for others. But usually in those moments, I get really good downloads. I get info, I get inspired ideas because I'm pausing. I'm quiet enough while I'm reading a book to be open and receive from spirit, from my team, from guides, from my own brain. Like just being open to receive by slowing down and watching a show, and then there's a message on there that you're like, oh my god, that answers my question, or that just gave me an inspired idea, or that's what I need to tell this person because of what you're watching. When you thought, oh, I'm just going to waste time and I shouldn't be doing this, I shouldn't be watching a show that I enjoy, I should be doing this or that. But if you're giving to yourself the break, the silence, the pause, the fun, the recharge, the just watching a Disney movie because it's enjoyable, be open to receive what comes through. And sometimes, yeah, that's just physically recharging. Sometimes that's just going to bed early. Sometimes it's just taking a nap. Physical is still necessary for you to be able to do the things you want to do, to be able to hold a higher level of energy and not burn out or, fry your synapses, cause inflammation, because higher vibration vibrates faster. Faster vibrations causes heat. Heat causes inflammation in the physical body. There's a physical response. When you're going through shifts and changes, you can get physical symptoms of having like a head cold and being sick because your body's trying to shift and change and make room for that. So sometimes you need to receive the rest, the recharge, the relaxation, the quiet pause moments. Give that to yourself so that you can receive the next level, the higher vibration. If you want to be better at any of your services, to give more to others, to reach more people, to be more clear on your readings, you do that by being able to receive when you give to yourself that rest. The more you take care of yourself, the more you give to yourself, the more you will receive knowledge, information, connections, abilities, gifts that'll come online. So reciprocity, give and receive. It's the balance. It's about being fair. It's not fair to yourself to not take care of yourself, to not allow others to help you. It's also not fair to them. If you get the high off of helping other people, which I do, I truly enjoy giving a card reading to somebody and seeing their light bulb, go off and go, oh my gosh, it makes sense, or that's what I need to do, or like that's what I needed to hear, and now I'm going to make that change. Or they just report back, progress. Oh my gosh, that reading was so helpful. It really helped me change my relationship or see things differently. There's a high off of helping people, giving to them. But by not allowing people to give to you, to ask for help when you need it, or simply be open to even a compliment, right? Somebody gives you a compliment and you make an excuse about it. We're like, oh no, my hair is awful, and oh, these clothes are old, they aren't new, or whatever. Or I didn't do that good of a job, minimizing the quality of work you do. Oh, anybody could just do that. It's not that big of a deal, right? You are denying and not being fair. Justice there. You're not being fair to someone else, denying them their ability to give and get their own high off of that. When they give to you, even just a compliment, and you smile and you're like, oh man, that feels really nice. And then they feel good because they made you feel good. And now you're both feeling good and high, and it's great. But if you, shoot it down and you don't accept it and you're not open to receive it. So the part about the confidently, so shining your light on the giving and the receiving, check your balance of that. Are you giving too much? Are you not open to receive? Or are you just giving to others and not giving to yourself? Check that, but confidently believe that what you give to yourself is not wasted. It does come back. You just can't get stuck on the form. And unfortunately, we live in a world that requires money. And a lot of people think if I give in this capacity, it should come back to me as money. I should make more money. That's not always it. Sometimes it's just connections. You could give to somebody, and how that shows back up is somebody helping you when you get a flat tire on the side of the road. And everything just works out, with synchronicity, and, it all turns out well. That's still coming back to you. No, that wasn't money, but it was assistance. It was help that you needed. It was meeting the right person at the right time. We were like, oh, I've been, giving and, helping others. And now somebody was here to help me, not to hand you $1 million. It would be nice, but it doesn't work out that way. But they may have connections and resources and supports. So be open to receive, check your balance. Make sure they're giving, receiving equally, as well as to yourself and to others equally as well. Do not be giving from an empty cup. It's not fair to yourself. It's not fair to the people that you're trying to help, if you're coming from a depleted place. I hope you found that helpful. I know I did. Got several things I'll be working on this summer solstice. Feel free to leave a comment to let me know what resonated with you. And if you would like your own reading, whether that's Akashic Records or tarot cards, or a combo of both, check out my services on my website.